Hi all, welcome to Anil Nair classes YouTube channel. Today I am going to do a very informative session for all the students who are going to write CAT 2020 examination. This video almost covers every possible information a student need it, right from the examination dates to the admit cards date to the result date to the number of sections to the number of questions in section to the MCQ versus non-MCQ to the last 3 or 4 years of percentile. Almost everything with respect to CAT 2020. A serious and a sincere student need it. Every possible thing I kept it in the session. Without wasting time, let us get into the session. CAT Common Admission Test 2020. Asia's toughest examination to get into the most coveted B schools in India, that is IIMs and another best business schools in India. It is not actually a common admission test. It is a common sense admission test. Why? Because from last 2 to 3 years, there has not been any memory based questions that are coming from. Every question, almost every question that I see it as an CAT trainer from last 15 years, last 2-3 years, the kind of questions that were asked in CAT paper were absolutely delightful. I'm so happy as a CAT trainer. That is what I expected the questions. It is not a question based on the knowledge. It is not necessarily a question based on understanding of the concept. Most of the questions in CAT are based on the application of the concept, which of course is a derivative out of knowledge on knowing the concept and understanding of knowing the concept, right? Very important session. In case if you are a CAT aspirant, watch the entire video. Kindly make a note of every important key point. At the end of the session, you will be able to learn a lot of important things which will help you to maximize your chances of getting into the B school that you are dreaming for. CAT 2020. CAT 2020. Now, this notification was released on 29th July. So, now the exam will be conducted. There were a lot of speculations about whether the CAT exam will be postponed, whether the CAT exam will be conducted, whether the CAT exam will be like a GMAT examination where you can sit in home and write the examination. Very recently, IPM conducted their examination using Google Forms, and there was a lot of bad noise in a lot of student forums where a student was extremely uncomfortable answering it, right? So keeping all the speculations apart, CAT 2020 notification was out and the exam is going to happen on 29th November 2020. We are on 1st August, almost half of the day it is completed. So August, September, October and November, almost close to about 118 or 119 days left for you to prepare. By this time 29th November happens, almost the second slot students might be completing their examination. CAT 2020, last final few months for you to write these exams that you are dreaming for so many years. CAT exam will be a center and proctored based, similar to last year. There were no changes and the exam is going to be conducted across 156 test centers. There is no COVID effect. There is no sitting in home and writing the examination. The examination mode is same as the last year. There were no changes, and from CAT 2015 onwards, almost there was no change in terms of the section 3 section paper, section 1 verbal ability, after that section 2 data interpretation, section 3 quantitative aptitude. Quantitative aptitude. Students who are probably not so good in quant can feel so happy because the first section is verbal ability. Students who are good in logical thinking can feel happy because it is coming before quantitative aptitude. Quantitative aptitude is last so that it can help the students from a max or a non-max background to get the same point of reference. 60 minutes allocated for each section. The number of questions in each section, it is not mentioned. However, we strongly believe as the oldest YouTube channel for CAT preparation that the number of questions in each section does not change, and it will be same like the previous year. Probably 34, 32, 34 will be the number of questions in each and every section. Section 1 verbal ability and reading comprehension. Section 2 logical reasoning and DI. Section 3 will be quantitative aptitude. 180 minutes, 100 questions. 180 minutes, 100 questions. Now, few important informations with respect to CAT 2020. Notification was out on 29th July, and the online registrations for CAT 2020 will start on 5th August at 10 a.m. and the last date to apply for this exam is on 16th September 2020. From last 2 to 3 years, they generally extend the last date. Last year close to 2.1 lakh students wrote the examination, and there was a jump of close to 3 to 4,000 students who have applied for this examination. So 3,000 into 2,000. So 6 into 10 power 6, that will be an additional revenue for the students, from the students to the IIM management. Admit card will happen from 28th October, and the students can download the admit card till the examination. 5th August CAT form starts. It is highly recommended that students apply the online in the first few days once the online registration starts, so that they will get the test center they wished. And there is an online on-screen basic calculator. You should prepare in such a way that you don't need to use a calculator and you should be able to solve it. Calculator has a limitation, human potential has no limitation, and especially type in the answer questions will have to be typed on the answer. All the 3 sections will be a combination of multiple choice questions and a non-multiple choice questions, which I am going to discuss in the next few slides. Now, 2,000 rupees will be the fees for the students to apply for the CAT examination for a general and NC OBC candidates. For there is a 50% down in the price for the SC, ST and PWD candidates. What is the reservation policy at IIMs? Few of my enrolled students asked me this one, so that's the reason I kept it out in this slide. 15% of the total seats are reserved for the SC, 7.5% of the seats are reserved for ST, 27% of the total seats are reserved for other backward classes belonging to the non-creamy layer. NC-OBC stands for non-creamy OBC layer. 15 plus 7.5, 22.5, almost 49.5 is out, and people with benchmark disabilities, another 5% seats are reserved, and 10% of the seats are also reserved for economically weaker sections. Now, if you do a little bit of mathematics, 22.5, 49.5, 54.5, 64.5% of the total seats are reserved for the various categories. That means students who are from a general category, I feel very sorry to say that you are competing for the remaining 35.5% of the seats. In case if you are from a general category, the competition of you getting into the top 6 IIMs or top 13 IIMs, you need to score massively high with a strong co-curricular, extracurricular and an academic percentage for you to get into IIMs. Right, this is an extremely important slide for the students who are for reservation and also for the students who are not from any of the reservation category. Now, what is a common admission test 2020 for the students who are writing this exam for the first time? It is an all India entrance test conducted by IIMs. This year IIM Indore is conducting this test, and the technology support will be given by TCS. It is an entrance test not only to get into IIMs but also to another good business schools like NITI is in Mumbai, MDI is in Gurgaon, SP Jain is in Mumbai. FMS used to conduct their separate entrance test. Now getting into FMS is through CAT examination. There used to be a separate entrance test to do MBA in IITs, that is joint management entrance test, that also is scrapped. To do an MBA in IITs, you need to write CAT examination. So CAT common admission test 2020. It is an all India entrance test, not only to get into IIMs but also to other prominent business schools. There are about 70 plus good business schools which take CAT scores, and there are of course 430 plus business schools which are decent but not the best, who also takes CAT score. That also we are going to discuss it. CAT exam date is on November 29th 2020, and the exam will be conducted on a single day, and they will be conducted in 2 sessions, morning and afternoon on the same day. This year exam will be conducted on a single day like the previous years. IIM Indore is conducting the paper. It is a computer non-adaptive test. The difference between an adaptive test and a non-adaptive test is, adaptive test is a test where the computer will generate questions based on the student's competence level after solving a question. If it is easy, then the level of next question will be difficult, but here it is a computer based test, not a computer adaptive test like a GMAT examination. Now, who can apply for these examination? There is no age limit. You can apply for these examination. I was the ex-South India academic head for Career Launcher. Some of my seniors who are probably close to 40 years, 45 years, 50 years. My mentor Gautam Puri, who was the co-founder of Career Launcher, still has a habit of writing CAT examination almost every year. I think he is one of the veteran or the oldest person who will write the examination. Sorry GP sir, right? And graduates with 50% marks can also apply for these examination. You need to get minimum 50% marks to apply for these examination. How many questions will be there? 100 questions will be asked in these examination with 3 sections which we already discussed. 180 minutes, time duration is 3 hours, 3 sections, each section 1 hour. After section 1 is over, you can not go back to section 1. Section 1 over, section 2 appears, section 2 over, section 3 appears. You cannot go back. And we believe that this year also, verbal ability and reading comprehension, 34 questions will be there, similar to last year. DI and LR, 32 questions will be there. Quant, there will be 34 questions. If I probably check it out with the last few years of CAT paper, the paper will be moderate to difficult paper. So except DI and LR, other 2 sections will have 34 questions. These 34 questions in 60 minutes. Quant also 34 questions in 60 minutes. DI and LR 32 questions in 60 minutes time. Now let us get into the next important things. What are all the various good colleges? I will be doing a series of session in terms of the B schools and the percentile in the next few weeks. Now we will just cater to which are all the good business schools which will. Jamnalal Bajaj accepts CAT score, FMS, MDI Gurgaon, SP Jain, IITs, IMI Delhi, and various good schools appear. CAT 2020, on this I will do a separate session, right? Which business school comes out at which percentile as we go on at preparation. CAT 2020 application fee is 2000. You don't need to do and separate one application fee. If you fill the online registration, it covers all the 20 IIMs. Order of sections is fixed. First verbal ability, then LRDI, then comes the quantitative aptitude. No change is allowed. Now let us get into these are all the things which we discussed, and the result day is on January 5th, 2021. They say that the result is on January 5th. Sometimes it might come 1 or 2 days before only. Exam day is on 29th October, right? So various registration form, edit option, all this will be announced in the next few days. Online registration starts on 5th August. We believe that they will come out with a demo tutorial on 5th August to help the students go through the online registration without any creates. Now if you see for SC, ST and PWD, 50% criteria in graduation is the eligibility criteria. For SC, ST and PW candidates, minimum 45% will be there. Who are all eligible? Students who are in a final year bachelor degree can write the examination. Students who completed the bachelor's degree can write the examination. Students who did the professional degree also can write the examination. We have seen every possible. You can pay it through a credit or a debit card or a net banking. 1000, 2000, these also we discussed. These reservation for each and every category, that also we discussed it. No change in the category. Be extremely cautious while filling the registration form. Give an extra attention before clicking on the submit button, right? Any changes will not be allowed little after some point of a time. Now this is the paper pattern. First verbal ability and reading comprehension. Now I will get into the 100 feet analysis of how many MCQ questions are there, how many theta questions are there. Type in the answer. Verbal ability, section number 1, 34 questions. 24 questions have got multiple choice questions. 10 questions are non-MCQ questions. Right? MCQ means multiple choice question. A question has got 4 multiple choices, right answer 3, wrong answer -1. There is a negative marking, right? You have to type in the answer, there is no negative marking. For theta questions, 10 out of 34 questions in verbal ability are theta questions. 24 questions are MCQ questions in data interpretation and LRDI. 24 questions are all the 3 sections. 24, 24, 24 multiple choice questions are there. Remaining questions are theta questions. In quantitative aptitude, 24 questions are from MCQ and 10 questions are from non-MCQ. That means if you see, almost 74% of the total paper has 100 questions. 74% of the total paper is of MCQ and 26% of the total paper you have to type in the answer. That clearly shows that using answer option approach might not probably work for the remaining 26%. There were days where using answer options probably you would have done it. That works in the MCQ. In non-MCQ you have to read the question, understand the question and give a right answer or a wrong answer depending upon how you solve it. You have to type in the answer and there is no negative marking for theta questions. There is no negative marking. Non-MCQ, there is no negative marking. For MCQ, there is a negative marking. Unattempted questions, in both the cases, multiple choice and the non-multiple choice, there is no marks that are given to you. I hope it is clear how many questions came from MCQ, how many questions came from non-MCQ, whether there is a negative marking for MCQ, whether there is a non-negative marking for MCQ. Now listen carefully, this is a very important. Now if you see, 76% of the questions are MCQ, 24% of the questions are non-MCQ. That means I can say that close to 76% questions have got negative marking. Be extremely careful. Don't be impatient. CAT examination will always test your patience also. Please do not be extremely slow, do not be extremely fast. You have to be a very smart in selecting the questions, which I will develop new strategies for the students who are preparing for CAT 2020 so that you can optimize your preparation. My entire YouTube videos, which I am going to do it in August and September, is with a clear goal to help a student get a damn good percentile by giving him sufficient strategies for him so that he can use a strategy. If it is not working, use another strategy. By August end, every viewer, every subscriber of my YouTube channel should have a proper strategy in place that works with him or her. So ensure that, because there is a negative marking, be extremely careful. Now, if you see, each question, if it is 3 marks, Now, if you see total 34 into 3, 102. 32 questions, 32 into 3, 96. 34 into 3, 102. If I look at the last 5 years of CAT paper, generally on an average, 24 to 27 questions are coming from MCQ and 7 to 10 questions are coming from non-MCQ. That means if I look at the last 5 years of papers, 75% of the questions are MCQ and 25% of the questions are non-MCQ. Non-MCQ. So 34, 103. Now if I look at it, total 300 marks, 100 questions. 100 questions. You will be extremely surprised to know if I show you the last few years of score versus percentile, how a smartness can actually maximize your score. Now if you see here, generally to get into any of the IIMs, minimum qualifying score depending upon your reservation category or a non-reservation category, minimum 90 percentile is required to get into the shortlist for the second round. Now if you see, it is not only the overall percentile but also the sectional cutoff, which is extremely important. CAT is a sum of all parameters. In addition to your good score, you should also have a great academic score, your probably work experience, your co-curricular, extracurricular, anything that adds value to your profile, all will get added, and depending upon the final score, your admission will be given. Now if you see here, let us go section wise. Now we are in section number 1. Section number 1. We have seen the CAT paper, we have seen the examination pattern of the CAT paper, we have seen how many questions are coming from each and every section, MCQ and non-MCQ. Let us go 100 feet down. Now if you look at verbal ability and reading comprehensive question, total questions are 34, 24 to 27 MCQ questions are there, 7 to 10 non-MCQ questions are there. Now if you see here, RC passages, total number of passages they are giving from reading, total number of passages are close to 5, right? And RC passages, all the questions are multiple choice questions. There is no non-MCQ question in any of the RC passages. And in verbal ability, remaining 10 questions are there, and it is a mixture of multiple choice and a non-multiple choice. Reading comprehension questions, all are multiple choice, there are no non-MCQ questions. So if you see 34 questions, 24 to 27 MCQ and 7 to 10 non-MCQ. First thing, MCQ versus non-MCQ. And another important thing, 24 questions are from reading comprehension and 10 questions are from verbal ability. 24 questions, almost 70% of 24, which is 23.8. 70% of VA and RC questions were from reading comprehension. That is the important factor for us to consider. That means the students who are into an excessive reading, students who probably have a very diversified reading habits, have got an extremely added advantage compared to the students who just started with Chetan Bhagat's or any of the basic books. 24 questions out of 34 questions are from reading comprehension, out of which there is no non-MCQ question. Only 10 questions are from verbal ability. And what are the 10 questions? Let us discuss the topic. Now, what was the level of difficulty? Level of difficulty compared to previous years, verbal ability and RC, the questions are moderate to very difficult. There were no grammar questions. There were no vocabulary questions. From last year, there were no grammar questions for the students getting into an 2020 IIMs, right? There were no vocabulary questions. The verbal ability 10 questions last year was confined to para-jumbles, summary and picking the odd sentence out of the jumbled sentence. So most of the questions that came in 10 questions are from the verbal logic topic. Para jumbles, very important focus. Para completion and the odd man out of the 4 sentences. 24 questions from reading comprehension. 10 questions, no grammar questions last year, no vocabulary questions last year. I hope it is clear, right? These all are extremely important for us to understand where to focus on, where not to focus on. Disclaimer here, the only thing which you can predict in a CAT paper is the paper will be an unpredictable paper. Last year, if there were no fact, inference and judgment question, does not mean that this year the questions will not come. The questions which came 5 years before, the same set of questions can come again. Please watch my CAT syllabus video which is present in our YouTube channel to make a list of all the topics that comes in your CAT paper. In case you are struggling in any of the areas, I kept some few videos on LRDI. I kept some few videos on CAT level. We are running a CAT workshop videos where every video teaches you a wonderful concepts which you will not see in any of the regular textbooks. Enjoy the content, and if you enjoy it and you wanted to purchase our content for the next 3 to 4 months, you think that I can add value to your preparation because of my 15 years experience, you can always WhatsApp this number to buy the course. Write DI and LR, second section, a section where you need a tremendous amount of practice, minimum 400 to 500 caselets. Variety of caselets you should have seen in the CAT preparation, otherwise this section will be a bouncer to you. Probably this section will kill your CAT score if you have still not started your preparation. A quant problem is, if you know a concept, you can solve it. DI and LR requires an absolute investment of time. August, September, October. If there is one recommendation which I wanted to give it to all the students who are good in quant, stop spending less time on quant. Spend more time on DI and LR. Quant can be picked up 2 months before if you have a good percentage. DI and LR, you will fear if you look at a new question. I wanted my students to not to have that fear. To kill that fear, probably you are every day 5 to 10 new caselets you should keep solving from any of the resource that will be available to you. Write DI and LR. 28 multiple choice questions, 24 multiple choice questions and 8 non-multiple choice questions. 25% of the DI and LR questions have non-multiple choice questions. So let us go in detail. Now out of these 32 questions, in verbal ability and RC, what is the distribution? RC 24 questions. Verbal ability 10 questions, not equally distributed. Section number 1, 34 marks. LRDI 34 questions, sorry. LRDI 32 questions, equally divided. DI 16 questions and LR 16 questions. Right? How many sets are there? There are 4 sets. There are 4 sets in DI and there are 4 sets in LR. 4 sets in LR. Each question appear in a set of 4. Extremely, almost every third student I met after CAT 2020 examination gave one feedback. All the caselets are time consuming. Again and again, with experience, with a lot of goodness, I am telling to you, if you do not practice on this section will backfire your CAT chances. Every day make a habit of solving 10 caselets every day. The best thing is by September 15th, almost 500 caselets or 450 caselets. If you solve it, you will be extremely confident. I will also do a lot of caselets through Anil Nair's way this month. 32 questions, equilibrium. DI 16 questions, LR 16 questions. Some of them are very time consuming. Now quant. The students who got good marks in schooling or +2 might think that quant is an easy section to crack. Probably not. Last year, if you go through the CAT quant paper, most of them are application based. 34 questions are there. If I see the last few years trend, 23 to 27 questions are MCQ, 7 to 11 questions are non-MCQ. Level of difficulty, it was moderate to difficult. Now if I look at last 2 or 3 years, arithmetic almost comes close to 40% of the entire paper was from arithmetic, If I see the last 3 years, that does not mean that this year also arithmetic will be coming off more percentage. Trends say that arithmetic is the most asked topic in the CAT examination. Either they might create a new trend or they might follow the same trend. Just I am giving you an picture, take it with a pinch of salt. Spend more time on arithmetic based on the last few years. Now another important card note, CAT 2020 admit card, right? Will upload the admit card on October 28, 2020. This is just an information slide. Right, how you can probably download the admit card. You can log on to CAT website, you can give your CAT login password, you can click on admit card and you can take a print of the admit card, some information, right? And the results will be declared on January 5th, 2021 in morning hours. Generally after declaration of the result, almost every IIMs will come out there with their shortlisting criteria. These, and please take a screenshot of this. Almost each one of them is kept. This is something which I took it out from the website. Registration date, downloading date, CAT examination date, right? CAT result date, each and every IIM's shortlisting criteria, right? Final admission, all the complete details are there. You can take a screenshot of it. Now if you see, I will also do a special session on various programs that is offered. These are some of the programs these are some of the programs which they offered, which every IIMs offer. I will do a separate sessions on what is each program all about, how different it is from a PGP program. PGP is one program which every CAT aspirant will click by default. These are all the various new IIMs, old IIMs, Ahmedabad, Amritsar, Bangalore, Bodh Gaya, Kolkata, Indore, Jammu, Kashmir, right? These are all the programs. By default, you have to click on PGP program. Of course, in the next few class sessions, I will also give an information about other programs, what is it about. Now, listen carefully. This is an extremely important slide. Now, if you see, what we have seen, 100 question, each question 300 marks. 300 marks is the total marks. For a student to get 99.5 percentile, 99 percentile, let us first take it. He has got a total score of 157. 157, it is almost 52 percentage. 52% of the total marks, if you get it right, you got almost close to 99 percentile. And to get 99 plus percentile, 196 marks you should get. 196. That means if you get 66 right, 66 questions right, you are almost just greater than 99.9 percentile, because 66 threes are 198, almost 65 to 66 right will give you 99.9 percentile. 66 right, 66 right answers in 3 hours time. That means each question, even if you spend close to about 2.5 minutes and get it right, almost you will get 99.5 percentile. Generally, all the new IIMs, it is there in the range of 95 percentile. 120 out of 300, which is nothing but 40% of the total marks. 40% of the total marks if you get it, you are almost into the second round of all the new IIMs. 196 was the total marks in 196. Now, if you see the total marks from 2016 to 2019, 2016 to 2019, if you see the scores are 196 to 191, 191, 196. The scores are moving from 190 to 2008. 2017 paper was little on the easier side, so obviously the scores were the highest compared to the last 4 years. Now if you see 168, 170 paper LOD of 2016, 2018 and 2019 was moderate to difficult, but 2017 it was on the easier side. That means if you observe this clearly shows that in case if a student is writing the CAT examination 100 questions 300 marks, if he attempts 80% of the total questions, which is 80 questions, and gets 85% right, 85% right, which is nothing but 68. 68 into 3 is 204. You are almost close to 100 percentile. That means thumb rule for you to write any mock examination is each section 80% of the questions you need to attempt with 80% accuracy. Almost you are in. You are at the top 3 percentile of the entire student community who wrote the examination. In case for you to have a minimum things, what you do is you attempt 70% of the total questions, 70 questions you attempt and try to attempt it with 90% accuracy. Be good in selecting the questions. You got 63 into 3, which is 189. 189 still will fetch you more than 99.5 percentile. That clearly shows that selecting right questions is extreme important. Selecting right questions is as important as rejecting few other questions. Your smartness in selecting the right questions is dependent on few things. One is your familiarity with variety of the questions, your comfort level with the, of course, comfort level is a derivative of familiarity. You knowing all the concepts, it is just not knowing the concept. Suppose most of the students do this mistake. They take a mock paper and if they get a right answer, they think that they got the answer, they will move forward. That is not. I will attempt a few mock papers this month and the next month. You see your approach, you also see how I solve the paper. Then you will realize that whether you are using the best method or you are going and using the traditional methods. Generally in the CAT paper, good number of questions can be 20 to 25% of the questions can be solved smartly without mathematics. 30 to 35% of the questions can be solved by using just a little bit of pen pushing and your practice on a topic for a period of 6 months. 10 to 15% of the questions probably you will be not be able to solve. 15 to 20% of the questions, they are the questions which will seduce you to solve and kill a lot of your time. Now we will see in detail. 70% in mind, keep it. Minimum 70% of the total questions you need to attempt with 90% accuracy. Or if you want to increase your attempts, 80% of the questions with 85% accuracy. Definitely you are there in the top 10% of the students. Now if you see it, this is the total marks. Let us get into an individual sections, because CAT exam also checks your sectional cutoff as well as your overall cutoff. Overall cutoff almost 80% questions with 63, 85% right, you are right. Now let's get into the verbal ability and reading comprehension. Now if you see verbal ability and reading comprehension, let us first check it. 34 questions, 102 marks. Let us see. For you to get a 99.99 only, we will see it. 99 percentile, you should get 62 marks out of 102 marks. 62 marks is nothing but 21 questions right. 21 questions right. You will get 63 marks. 63 marks is just greater than 91 percentile. That means if you select 21 questions, 60 minutes time is given. 60 minutes time is given. And in 21 questions, spend 2 to 3 minutes in selecting the questions. And if you can spend on the remaining 57 minutes, almost close to 2.5 minutes on a question, you are almost on this side. That clearly shows that CAT examination is not an exam of knowledge. It is an exam of smartness, right? So 21 questions you should get it right. That is what again I told you. 70% of the questions in a particular section with 90% accuracy. You are on the same safe side. 70% into 34, which is 24 questions right. 24 questions attempted with 21 right and 3 wrong. Still you are at 60 marks. 60 marks is closer to 98.5 percentile. Please take a screenshot of these percentiles. Kindly take a screenshot. Kindly take a screenshot and put it down in your study room. When you are preparing for CAT, it is extremely important for you to see the scores and percentiles and fine tune your preparation. These also kindly take a screenshot. Many of the students end up spending too much time on studying but without having a strategy in place. Like a cricket match where a cricketer will watch everything and understand the difference between a T20 one-day match and test match. You also need to develop the science of understanding the game. So overall we have done, and VI also we have done. Let us get into. Now if you see, right, I hope it is clear, right? In the next session, I being a Quant and LRDI trainer, I wanted to give a separate Quant 2019 and other percentiles with the strategies. Quant and LRDI, I will keep a separate video. Extremely important video, must watch video. In case if you find any of the information for you, kindly like the video, share the video with as many CAT aspirants as possible. Most of the CAT aspirant end up preparation without having a proper strategy in place. VI and RC, I am stopping it because in Quant and LRDI, I will spend a lot of time in the next few days helping every CAT aspirant to develop a strategy and to learn a lot of smart techniques. CAT scores versus percentile. These are the MBA programs. So we have discussed almost everything. My next session will be on how to prepare for a Quant section, how to prepare for an LRDA section. In case if you are a student who wants to know how I teach, kindly watch everyday CAT workshop videos. Workshop videos I generally start early every day at morning 8 a.m. I am keeping a CAT workshop videos. Watch the content, and in case if you enjoy my teaching and if you feel that I am teaching better methods, you can always WhatsApp this number 80500-67891 and you can go for a CAT course of, now we are in August, you can go for a CAT course of 6 to 8 months, so that every other management examination you will clear it in first attempt. Thanks a lot for watching the video. With love, Anil Nair.